Dr. Elias Vance sat in the quiet corner of the space station's medical wing, sipping cold tea and reading his notes. Around him, nurses and assistants moved quietly, checking equipment and running tests. Life on the galactic medical outpost. 7 was usually calm, boring even. Elias didn't mind. He preferred quiet study to chaos, but today was not meant to be quiet. A sharp alarm rang through the station. Lights flashed red. "Emergency shuttle incoming," shouted the comms officer. "Non-human vessel, Zelvaran Royal Code." Elias stood up quickly, his heart racing. Zelvarans were one of the oldest alien empires in the galaxy, powerful, proud, and rarely seen near human stations. What were they doing here? The voice continued. "Requesting immediate medical attention. Passenger in critical condition." Without thinking, Elias grabbed his tools and ran toward the landing bay. The station crew was already preparing the emergency unit. The shuttle arrived in less than 2 minutes, its sleek silver hull scorched and smoking from atmospheric re-entry. As the shuttle doors opened, 2 tall alien guards stepped out, their armor shining. Between them floated a stretcher, carrying a young female Zelvaran. Her pale lavender skin was discolored and her breathing was shallow. Her long hair, braided with small silver beads, was soaked in sweat. Her eyes were closed. "She is Princess Thaleri, daughter of King Darnax," said one of the guards, his voice tight with worry. "She was poisoned. We do not know the source. Please save her." Other medics on the station hesitated. Zelvaran biology was complex and secretive. A mistake could cause offense, or worse. But Elias stepped forward. "Bring her in." He said firmly, "I'll do what I can." They moved quickly to the medical bay. The machines couldn't recognize much of her readings. Her biology was too different. Elias had studied Zelvaran physiology during his training, but never treated one before, let alone royalty. He worked fast. The poison had already spread through her bloodstream. Her nervous system was shutting down. Her body was rejecting standard antitoxins. Every second mattered. "I need a level 3 neural stabilizer," Elias ordered, "and bring me the translation module for alien biochemistry." His assistants hurried to follow his commands. He scanned her blood and realized something strange. The poison was biological, grown, not manufactured. It was designed to shut down the mind slowly, without causing pain. It was rare and delicate. Someone had meant to harm her secretly. Elias didn't have time to think about politics. He focused on saving her. He mixed a serum, combining Earth-based enzymes with alien proteins from their archives. It was risky. No one had tested this blend before, but it was the only chance she had. "I'm injecting the serum," he said quietly. "Let's hope it works." For several long minutes, nothing happened. The heart monitor beeped slowly. Elias wiped sweat from his forehead. He felt the room hold its breath. Then slowly her breathing began to steady. The color returned to her face. The heart monitor beeped stronger. One of her fingers twitched. "She's stabilizing," said an assistant in disbelief. Elias let out a breath he hadn't realized he was holding. "We're not finished, but she'll live." Hours passed. Princess Thaleri remained unconscious, but her vitals were steady. Elias sat by her side, reviewing the strange poison and its effects. He knew someone had tried to harm her carefully. But why? Who would want to hurt the princess of a powerful empire? His thoughts were interrupted by a loud sound outside the station. A deep hum like thunder in space. A massive royal cruiser appeared outside the viewport, 10 times the size of the medical outpost. The crest of the Zelvaran Empire glowed on its side. Royal ships only moved for one reason: emergencies. A voice came through the station speakers. "Prepare to receive King Darnax XII. He comes for his daughter." Elias stood up slowly. He had treated many patients from many species, but he had never met a king before, especially not one from a race as proud as the Zelvarans. The air grew tense. The station commander met Elias at the dock. "You saved a life today, and not just any life. Be careful what you say." This is a moment the galaxy might remember. Elias nodded. He didn't feel like a hero. He had done what any doctor would. But something told him this was only the beginning. Dr. Elias Vance sat alone in his small quarters aboard the medical station. 1,000 thoughts ran through his mind. Outside his window, the giant Zelveran royal cruiser still floated in space, its lights glowing like a silent guardian. Somewhere inside it was Princess Thaliri, the very person he had saved, and the one now promised to him. He ran a hand through his hair. What just happened? He whispered to himself. It had been only a day since the king made his shocking offer. The daughter of the Zelveran ruler. A royal bonding, a possible future that could connect two great civilizations, human and Zelveran, through him. He was just a doctor, a man of science. He had come to the stars to study, to help others, not to become a political symbol or a prince. A gentle knock broke his thoughts. It was the station commander. Elias, she said, stepping inside. There's a message from the royal cruiser. The princess wants to see you. He stood up slowly. I guess I can't hide forever. The royal shuttle that picked Elias up was smaller than the cruiser, but still far more elegant than anything humans had built. The walls inside shimmered with soft light, and music played gently through the air. When the shuttle landed, royal guards led him into a tall glass chamber, filled with green plants and glowing stones. It was peaceful. Princess Thaliri stood waiting. She was dressed in soft silver robes, and though she was still recovering, she looked stronger than before. Her long hair was braided once more, and her calm eyes studied Elias carefully. You came, she said, smiling. I couldn't say no, Elias replied. You asked kindly. There was silence for a moment. Then Thaliri spoke again, her voice gentle. I did not choose this tradition. My father followed our old ways, but, I told him, I would only accept if you chose freely. Elias looked surprised. You mean you don't want to bond unless I agree with my heart? She nodded. This must be your choice, not his, not anyone else's. They walked together through the garden. Strange birds with glowing feathers flew above, and the sky outside the glass was filled with stars. Elias asked, Why does your culture have this tradition? Thaliri answered thoughtfully. Long ago, our ancestors believed that to save a life was to become part of it, that healing someone linked your souls. In royal families, that bond meant even more. It was meant to bring peace between clans. Elias stayed quiet, thinking. I know humans are different, she said. You value freedom and reason more than tradition. That's why I admire your people. He looked at her. And I admire yours. You faced death without fear, and now you're standing here offering peace with an open heart. They stopped walking. Thaliri looked at him with honesty in her eyes. I don't expect love, she said softly. Not yet. But maybe friendship. Maybe respect. Maybe something stronger in time. But only if you feel it too. Elias smiled gently. You're wiser than I thought. Later that evening, Elias joined a formal dinner with Zelveran scientists and royal advisors. He asked questions, learned about their medical advances, and even shared some of Earth's ideas. The aliens listened closely. They had expected him to be unsure, even afraid. Instead, they found someone curious, kind, and respectful. That night, after the gathering, an older Zelveran counselor spoke to Elias in private. Doctor, he said, many in our empire doubted humans. Some still do, but you have opened many eyes, not by force but with compassion. That is true strength. Elias nodded. Thank you. I didn't expect any of this, but maybe it was meant to be. Back on the medical station the next day, Elias stood at the same window where he once doubted everything. But now things felt clearer. He called the station commander. Send a message to the royal ship, he said. Tell them I've made my decision. What should I say? She asked. Elias smiled. Tell them I accept the offer, but not as a prize. I accept as a friend, To build something better between our people. The commander smiled back. Understood. As the message was sent, Elias felt a weight lift from his heart. He didn't know exactly what the future would bring, but he knew it would be worth it. He looked out into space, where stars burned bright, and whispered to himself, "Let's see where this takes us." The royal cruiser floated outside the station like a silver mountain in space. Its long wings shimmered with royal light, and hundreds of smaller defense ships surrounded it. No one on the medical outpost had ever seen a Zelvaran royal ship up close. Even the station commander looked nervous. Inside the docking bay, the crew lined up quietly. Dr. Elias Vance stood at the front, still in his medical coat, though he had changed into clean clothes and tried to fix his messy hair. His hands were steady, but his heart beat fast. Then the doors opened. A soft blue mist flowed in first, followed by 6 royal guards in silver armor. Their steps were slow, precise, and filled with power. Behind them came a tall figure wearing a robe that sparkled like stars. His skin was deep violet, and his eyes glowed gold. His crown was thin, not heavy, shaped like the horns of an old Zelvaran beast. This was King Darnax XII, ruler of the Zelvaran Empire. The room bowed, except Elias, who stood respectfully but straight. The king's eyes fell on him immediately. "You are the human doctor," the king said, his voice calm but deep, like thunder before a storm. "Yes, your majesty," Elias replied. "I'm Dr. Elias Vance." The king stepped closer. His guards tensed slightly, but he raised a hand, signaling peace. "You touched the blood of my daughter. You acted without permission. And yet, you saved her." Elias nodded. "She was dying. I did what I could. I didn't think about permission, only her life." There was silence in the room. Then, slowly, the king gave a short nod. "You have done something few ever dared. You saved a royal life without fear. For this, I am in your debt." The king turned toward the medical wing. "Take me to her." Inside the recovery room, Princess Thaliri lay still, but her breathing was smooth now. Monitors showed good signs. Her skin had returned to its soft lavender color. She looked peaceful, as if dreaming. The king stood beside her bed for a long time. He did not speak, but Elias noticed the quiet sadness in his eyes, a father worried for his child. Alien or not, that feeling was the same. After several minutes, the king spoke again, this time softer. "She was on a secret journey. Only a few knew. That someone poisoned her means one of my own people betrayed me." Elias stayed quiet. It was not his place to ask questions. "You treated her with great care," the king continued, "even when you had no reason to trust us. That speaks of rare strength." Then, without warning, the king turned to Elias and said something no one expected. "As ruler of the Zelvaran Empire, I offer you a gift greater than any treasure. I offer you my daughter's hand in bonding." The room froze. Elias blinked. He thought he had heard wrong. "I'm sorry. What?" "You saved her life. In Zelvaran tradition, a life debt from the royal family must be honored. In ancient days, this meant sharing life itself, through marriage." Elias's mouth went dry. "Your Majesty, I didn't ask for—" "I know," the king interrupted, "and that is why the offer is sincere. You asked for nothing. You acted with honor. If you accept, you will become part of our family, a symbol of unity between human and Zelvaran people. If you decline, you will still be honored." Princess Thaliri stirred on the bed, as if her spirit heard the words. Her eyes opened slightly. She looked around, then focused on Elias. A small smile touched her lips. "Doctor," she whispered, weak but clear. "You stayed." Elias smiled gently. "I did, and I'm glad you're awake." The king stepped back. "She lives because of you. But now the galaxy will watch. Whatever you choose will carry meaning." The station commander pulled Elias aside later. "Do you know what this means?" he asked. "If you say yes, You'll be connected to their empire forever. You'll be in the center of every treaty, every decision. Elias looked through the glass at Thaliri, who now sat up sipping water and laughing softly with a nurse. She had strength in her eyes even after her near death. And she wasn't a child. She was curious, smart, and brave. Just like the best of her people. I don't know what I'll decide, Elias admitted. But I do know one thing. This isn't just about politics anymore. The announcement spread quickly across both human and Zelvaran news networks. Human, Doctor accepts royal bonding, first unity between Earth and the Zelvaran Empire. Some cheered, calling it the beginning of a golden age. Others stayed silent, unsure what such a bond truly meant. And in secret corners of the galaxy, a few were not happy at all. Dr. Elias Vance returned to the Zelvaran royal cruiser to prepare for the bonding ceremony. The air buzzed with activity. Decorations of glowing crystals were placed across the ship's grand halls. Human and alien guests were being invited. Princess Thaliri spent most of her time learning human customs, while Elias studied the ancient Zelvaran bonding rites. It should have been a peaceful time, but something felt off. One evening, as Elias walked through the ship's botanical garden, he found one of the royal guards waiting for him. "Dr. Vance," the guard said quietly, "someone placed a bio-tracker on your medical bag." Elias frowned. "A tracker? Who would do that?" "We don't know. It was well hidden. But someone is watching you." Later that night, Elias sat with Princess Thaliri in a quiet reading chamber. Stars shone through the glass ceiling, and the sound of soft music played in the background. But the warm peace was broken by the weight of worry on Elias's face. "You're troubled," Thaliri said gently. Elias nodded. "Your guard found a tracker on my things. Someone's spying on me." Her expression turned serious. "There are those who do not want this bonding to happen. Not all Zelvarans support peace with humans. And maybe not all humans support peace with you either," Elias added. "Some people fear what they don't understand." Thaliri reached out and placed a hand on his. "We must stand together. That's the only way to face what's coming." Elias gave a small smile. "Then we'll face it." The next day, the king held a private meeting. He sat with his most trusted advisors, his daughter, and Elias. The air was heavy. "There are whispers," said one advisor. "Some say a Zelvaran noble house plans to stop the bonding." The king's eyes narrowed. "Who?" "We believe House Jerex is involved. They were against human alliances from the start. They see bonding as a stain on tradition." Thaliri looked up. "They've always feared change, even during the war years." King Darnax turned to Elias. "You are not one of us, Doctor, but you are now part of this story. Do you still wish to continue?" Elias stood firm. "Yes, I do. I didn't come here for politics. I came to save lives. And I believe peace between our people can save many." The king nodded. "Then we must be ready." Security was doubled around the ship. Special guards followed Elias wherever he went. He didn't like it, but he understood. There was danger now. Real danger. One afternoon, while visiting the medical wing, Elias saw something strange. A nurse was checking medical supplies, but her movements were stiff, almost robotic. When she saw Elias, she froze, then walked away quickly. Elias followed her quietly. She led him to a storage room, and then vanished. He stepped inside and found a small device hidden behind boxes. A strange smell filled the air. A chemical, vapor. Suddenly, a loud alarm rang. "Poison detected," came the alert. "Lockdown activated." Guards rushed in and sealed the area. Elias was pulled out just in time. If he had been slower by even a minute, he might have been exposed. That night, Elias sat with Thaliri again. She looked at him with worry in her eyes. "This is getting worse," she said. Elias nodded. "Someone's trying to stop this, by any means." "You don't have to stay," she said quietly. "If you walk away, no one would blame you." He looked at her for a long moment. But I would blame myself. I've come too far to give up now. Later, in the shadows of the royal cruiser, a message was sent by a hidden hand. The human lives. The plan failed. What are your orders? Reply came quickly. Plan the final move. The ceremony must never happen. Back in the royal chambers, King Darnax met privately with Elias and Thaleri. This bonding is no longer just a tradition, the king said. It is now a target. But we will not let fear control our future. Elias stood tall. Then we go forward. Together. The king smiled, pride in his eyes. Very well. The ceremony will take place in 3 days. The great hall aboard the Zelveran royal cruiser sparkled like a sky full of stars. Walls were covered in glowing silk. Floating lanterns hovered above the guests, changing colors with the rhythm of soft music. It was the perfect place for a royal bonding, grand, peaceful, and filled with the promise of unity. Guests from across the galaxy had arrived. Human diplomats, alien leaders, scientists, and peacekeepers stood side by side, watching history unfold. Dr. Elias Vance stood near the center of the hall. He wore formal Zelveran robes with a silver trim. His heart beat fast, not from fear but from hope. Princess Thaleri stood beside him, dressed in a gown made of shining threads that changed colors in the light. She looked strong, calm, and proud. As the bonding ceremony began, a high priestess stepped forward. Today, she said in a clear voice, we honor not only the saving of a life, but the joining of 2 worlds, in peace, in trust, and in respect. She held out a crystal bowl filled with a glowing liquid. Thaleri dipped her fingers into the bowl, then Elias did the same. This was the Zelveran symbol of unity, 2 different hands in the same stream of life. Then the priestess raised her arms. Let the bond be sealed. The hall erupted into soft music and gentle cheers. But the moment of joy didn't last. Suddenly the lights flickered. Then, darkness. A sharp mechanical sound filled the air. Gasps echoed through the hall as a blinding flash appeared at the back of the room. A figure in dark armor stepped forward, holding a small device glowing red. Guards rushed forward, but the figure raised a hand and the floor beneath them exploded with smoke. Get down, Elias shouted, pulling Thaleri to the side. From the smoke, more masked attackers appeared. They wore black armor with red markings, the symbol of House Jarex. Blasters fired into the ceiling, sending sparks everywhere. We must go, shouted Captain Vero, head of the Royal Guard. He led Elias and Thaleri through a side passage. This is a betrayal, Thaleri cried. They dare attack during the bonding. They want to stop it at all cost, Elias said, running beside her. Behind them, the sounds of battle filled the air, shouts, blasts, crashing glass. As they ran down a narrow hallway, a masked attacker jumped out. Elias reacted, fast. He grabbed a loose pipe from the wall and swung it hard. The attacker fell with a groan. You fight well, Thaleri said, half surprised. I've been in enough emergency rooms to dodge a few punches, he said, breathing heavily. They reached a secure door. Captain Vero keyed in a code, and it opened into a safe room. A few other guards were already inside, injured but alive. The king? Thaleri asked quickly. Safe for now, Vero replied. But the attackers are trying to reach him, and they'll come for you too. Elias sat down for a moment, catching his breath. His bonding ceremony had turned into a battlefield, but deep inside he knew something bigger was happening. This wasn't just about the bond. It was about the future of peace. Thaleri sat beside him. This was meant to be a day of hope. It still is, Elias said. We're still alive. We still stand together. That matters. Outside, the sound of battle slowly faded. Then, silence. Captain Vero received a message on his wrist device. Our forces pushed them back. The king is secure, but several guests were hurt and some attackers escaped. Thaleri stood. We must speak to the people. Show them this bond cannot be broken by fear. Elias nodded. Let's finish what we started. Later that evening, a broadcast went out to both Zelveron and human worlds. Elias and Thaleri stood side by side in front of the camera. Today, Elias began, we came together to build peace. Some tried to stop us, with fear and violence. Thaleri continued, but they failed. Because peace is stronger than fear. And love, real love, is stronger than hate. She reached for Elias's hand and he took it without hesitation. The bonding is complete, Elias said. Not just between two people, but between two worlds. The screen faded to a symbol, the human flag beside the Zelveran crest, joined by a glowing star. In a dark part of the galaxy, the surviving attackers returned to their hidden base. A tall, shadowed figure stepped out from the darkness. You failed, the figure said coldly. But this is not over. They turned to a map of the galaxy pointing to Earth. If they want unity, we'll bring them war. After the attack, on the royal bonding ceremony, the galaxy changed. The peaceful image of a human doctor and an alien princess standing together had given many hope. But for others, it had awakened fear, anger, and hate. House Jerex, the enemy in the shadows, was not finished. Their plan had failed, but their purpose had not. They now wanted more than to stop the bond. They wanted to stop Earth. In a hidden base on the cold moon of Ralvan 6, the leaders of House Jerex met in silence. A hologram of Earth floated above the center table. They are weak, said Liraka, the tall and fierce commander of House Jerex. They hide behind soft words and empty traditions. One human has turned our people into fools. An elder warrior spoke. The bond between the human and the princess has united more worlds than we expected. That is why we must break it, Liraka said coldly. We strike not the princess, but Earth itself. Far away on the royal cruiser, Dr. Elias Vance stood beside Princess Thaleri in the command chamber. News had just arrived. One of Earth's colonies had been attacked. 3 ships were destroyed and dozens of people were missing. This is just the beginning, said Captain Vero, standing with them. We believe House Jerex is planning something bigger. Elias frowned. We can't let this grow into a full war. Thaleri placed a hand on the screen showing the destroyed colony. They want us to fight. They want to prove that peace is weak. The king appeared on a secure line. Then we must show them that peace is strong. Back on Earth, people were scared. News of the colony attack spread quickly. Some blamed aliens. Others blamed the bond between Elias and Thaleri. Elias was invited to speak at the Earth Council. The tall room was filled with humans in suits and uniforms sitting in a circle. Many had hard expressions. One stood up. Dr. Vance, some believe this alliance has brought nothing but danger to Earth. What do you say? Elias took a deep breath. It's true that we've faced danger, but we've also found friends. The Zelveran royal family didn't bring war. They've helped protect us. This isn't just about one attack, it's about what kind of future we want. Another member asked, and what if war is the only answer? Elias looked around the room. Then we face it, but we do it together, because if we stand divided, we fall. That night, Thaleri and Elias walked in the quiet garden of the royal cruiser. The stars above seemed closer than usual. They're afraid, Thaleri said softly. Your people. My people. Everyone. They should be, Elias replied. War is near. But fear can blind us, she said. We must stay strong. He looked at her. Then we lead together. The next morning, an alert woke the crew. Enemy ships detected near Mars. Unidentified fleet approaching. Prepare. For defense. Elias rushed to the command deck with Thaleri and Captain Vero. A screen showed the dark sky above Mars. 3 massive warships shaped like blades, surrounded by smaller attack ships. The same red symbol flashed across them. House Jerex. They're here, said Vero, and they're not hiding. Thaleri stepped forward. Contact Earth. Call the Alliance. We must defend the planet. Elias nodded. And fast. On Earth, sirens echoed across major cities. Defense ships rose into the skies. People were moved to shelters. The entire planet braced for war. The human-Zelvaran alliance responded quickly. Ships from both species formed a united wall in space, defending Earth's orbit. Elias and Thaleri joined the command center in orbit, watching as the enemy ships drew closer. Then came the message from Lyraka herself, loud and clear. Surrender. The bond. End your alliance, or Earth will fall. Elias stepped forward and gave the answer. We will not surrender. We stand together. The battle began. Lasers lit up the dark space. Fighters zoomed between large ships. Human and Zelvaran pilots fought side by side. Some ships exploded. Some were damaged but kept fighting. Elias watched from the command center, giving medical orders to the field teams. Thaleri gave commands to the fleet, leading with courage and calm. They were different, but they worked as one. Then came a message from a scout. Enemy flagship hit. Lyraka is escaping. A cheer filled the command center. The enemy fleet began to retreat, jumping into deep space. The first great battle for peace was won. But it was not the end. As the crew celebrated, Elias looked at Thaleri. They'll come back, he said. She nodded. Yes, but next time we'll be ready. A quiet silence had returned to Earth after the battle near Mars. The skies were clear, and the stars seemed peaceful again. But everyone knew it was not over. Commander Lyraka of House Jerex had escaped. Her fleet was damaged but not destroyed. She would return, and next time she would strike harder. In the royal chamber of the Zelvaran flagship, Elias Vance stood beside Princess Thaleri. Maps of the galaxy glowed around them. Red marks showed the last known location of the enemy. They've gone to the outer void, said Captain Vero. No signals, no stations. Only silence. Thaleri looked at Elias. If she is hiding, there it means she is building something big. Elias nodded. We can't wait for her to return. We have to end this before more people are hurt. King Darnax appeared on the main screen. This war must end now. We have formed something new, something greater than both our peoples. But to protect it, we must act with strength and wisdom. Thaleri stepped forward. Then send me. I will lead the final mission. Elias will come with me. Elias didn't hesitate. If this is the last stand, I'll be there. Days later, a special fleet of combined human and Zelvaran ships entered the outer void. It was a cold and dark part of space, filled with old wrecks and silent moons. But soon they found what they were looking for. Floating in the darkness was a massive space station, bigger than any ship Earth had ever built, sharp like a blade powered by stolen energy cores. This was Lyraka's final weapon. We have found her base, said a pilot over the radio. But there is a problem. A giant shield surrounded the station. It shimmered in the dark, like a force field of fire. We can't get through, Vero said. Elias looked at the scans. That's not just a shield. It's alive. Some kind of energy made from alien life. Thaleri understood at once. Lyraka has taken forbidden technology. This is dangerous, even for her. Lyraka stood inside the station looking down at her enemies on the screen. They've come to end me, she said, but I will end them first. She activated the weapon. A huge beam began charging from the heart of the station. One shot, she said, to destroy Earth. Back in the fleet, an idea came to Elias. We can't destroy the shield from outside, but what if I go in? Everyone looked at him. You're a doctor, said Vero, not a soldier. Elias smiled. Yes, but I understand life energy, and I can disable it if I get inside. Thaleri shook her head. It's too dangerous. It's our only chance, Elias said, and I'm not doing it alone. Thaleri grabbed his hand. Then we go together. They entered the station in a small stealth ship, flying low and fast. The shield let them through because Elias carried a special energy key, a sample of Zelvaran life he had saved long ago. Inside the station, the halls were dark and cold. Red lights flashed as they moved closer to the core. Enemy guards tried to stop them, but Elias used his tools and Thaleri used her skills. Together, they reached the energy room. It pulsed like a living heart. The weapon was nearly ready. Elias rushed to the control panel. If I change the signal here and I can shut it down. But Lyrica appeared in the doorway, her blaster raised. You should have stayed on Earth, she said. Daliri stepped in front of Elias. It's over. Lyrica, your people will not follow you after this. They don't need to follow me, Lyrica replied. They only need to fear me. She fired. Daliri blocked the shot with a small energy shield, then moved quickly. In one motion, she knocked the blaster away and held her sword to Lyrica's chest. You lose, Daliri said. Elias hit the final button. The weapon shut down. The shield dropped. Outside, the human Zelveran fleet saw the shield fall. Now! Shouted Captain Vero. Take the station! Fighter ships moved in, disabling the weapons and engines. The war was over. Later, peace was restored. Lyrica was captured and placed on trial for war crimes. Her followers surrendered. The great station was taken apart, and its dangerous technology was destroyed. Back on Earth, people celebrated. Lights filled the sky. Music played in every city. But for Elias and Daliri, it was not just a victory. It was a new beginning. They stood together on a green hill under the open sky. We fought for peace, Elias said. And we found something more, Daliri added. We found each other. They looked at the stars, knowing their bond had changed not just their lives, but the lives of millions, human and Zelveran, together forever.